Sweet. All right. So I put a little cheat sheet uh, of like standard dimensions for like obviously stock platforms. It's not even a cheat sheet. It's just a quick reference form that I probably should have given you guys earlier. But it has like door measurements, what the standard door measurements are, stock scenery. But in terms of stairs, like figuring out your stair height is dependent on where you're trying to make the stair go to, really. Like if it's just a freestanding unit of steps, obviously it can be whatever height you want. But standard riser height, or the part of the step that makes it go up, is anywhere from 7 inches to 10 inches, depending on if the scene shop or the designer or whoever's doing it. I like to use 8-inch rises on my steps because an 8-inch rise arrives evenly at 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, etc. So that it's easy to make your stairs terminate at a height of a platform that is kind of a standard, evenly divisible height. Likewise, the tread of the step, or the part where you're walking, that's usually easiest to just make a 1 foot tread, so that the space that the step unit takes up is even and uniform. You can also make them 10-inch treads. That's about the smallest they can be and still comfortably walk on them. Though in some professional theaters, you may see steps with a very small tread that actors almost have to walk down sideways simply because of the constraints of the space. But that's very rare anymore. Most theaters try to have the steps, rather than make an awkward set of stairs conform to a set design, you make the set design need to accommodate reasonable step sizes, because it's just unsafe to try to make actors go up and down steps that are much smaller than 10 inches. But I use 12-inch steps because that's just simplest. It gives a big step for someone to walk up and down, nice and convenient, and it also lays out easy because I know that each step that I use takes up a foot of space. So that's basically how I do it. So I'm just going to draw I'm going to draw a couple different platforms and show how I would get a step to arrive there and how I would draw it. I'm just going to draw it in the stage template that we've been using, because that's easiest. I might, if I were doing it and I didn't have my set, if I had parts of my set already laid out and I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to do it, I might do it over in my virtual scene shop, and then move it into my set, because sometimes those things can start interacting in ways that you don't want them to. But I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way, that ramp that we drew last time. In fact, I'm just going to, I'm gonna make it one group, and I'm going to put it on the furniture and hide it. All right. So I'm going to draw just a 4x8 platform. Say 8 foot by 4 foot, actually. All right, and I'm going to pull that guy to, let's just go to 4 feet, nice and in between. Be a platform that nobody could walk under, but We'll change the perspective. Nobody could walk under that. 4 feet's not tall enough. But, you know, it would be a nice raised level, pretty high raised level. And I'm going to make that a group. And so I know that I need to get my stairs to a point where an actor can step up to 4 feet. Typically, so like maybe if you have like a turning stairway, maybe the 4 foot height would be like what your landing would be, you know, like if a stair went up and then turned, maybe the landing height is 4 feet. And then it goes up further from there to like a 6 foot high platform or an 8 foot high platform. You know, an 8 foot high platform easily accommodates a doorway underneath it, so that you could have somebody walk under that platform and have a door inset where that platform would be. So maybe you go up to 4 feet at your landing, maybe you go up to 8 feet on your actual second level, and we'll look at that. But first, I'm going to draw a little step unit that gets us up to 4 feet. So I'm going to have what I'm going to want is to have a step that finishes, basically, I'm going to use 8-inch steps. So I'm going to have a step that finishes 8 inches below this 4 foot platform. So 3 feet and 4 inches high, or 40 inches. So my stairs, my stairs need to get up to 40 inches. I'm going to even draw a little line there so that I know where I'm going. We're going to say 40. So I know that my step unit needs to get up to that height. And if I'm using 8-inch rises and we divide 40 inches by 8 inches, I need 5 steps.
5.
Exactly. So I know that I'm going to need 5 steps. So if I am using 8-inch rises and I'm using a 12-inch tread and I need 5 steps, then I need 5 feet of space for my step unit. Now my step unit won't be, I'm going to still draw a little index mark just so I know where that's going to be as a reference. You know, my stairs aren't going to be 8 feet wide. They could be 4 feet wide. They could be 3 feet wide. Much narrower than 3 feet might not look quite right. If you needed to have a stair unit that was only 2 feet wide or 2.5 feet wide, you certainly could if you didn't want it to take up too much space in your set. But typically the actual width of the full stair is somewhere between 3 feet and 4 feet, depending on, but it could be 30 inches if you needed to be extra narrow. I'm just going to do 4 feet to be simple. Again, conform to some stock sizes. So I can do it a couple different ways. This one I think I'm gonna do this one this way because it's for me the simplest. I'm just going to draw a 4 foot by 5 foot rectangle that'll show me the entire footprint of where my stairs are going to be for this. And I'm going to go ahead and make that a group now. And then I'm going to edit the group. So this I'm going to need to pull up in increments of 8 inches high, and the sections are going to be 1 foot sections. So I'm just going to tape off 1 foot 5 times, and then I can just draw my lines across. I think that's the easiest for me. I'm just going to go 1 foot, and it's going to give me a little index I can see there, and then 1 foot, from there, just use my tape and keep typing in 1 foot. Oops. That. 1 foot. And I can hide those guides later under my view. I can unclick my guides if I don't want, when I don't want to see them. But I'm going to see them for now. You could also just draw a line, like a 1 foot line, and your line tool should see where that line terminates. But I think the guides are more useful for me. So I can just draw a line that goes across from there, then another line across from there, and so on. And each of those sections are 1 feet or 1 foot. I can see that that's 1 foot. And so I've got all my steps as it were laid out there. First step, second step, and so on. And now I can just pull. Again, I'm editing. I made that rectangle group, so I'm editing the group, but I can go in and just pull each. I'm going to highlight that section and pull it up 8 inches. I'm going to show you that there might be a different way that you actually want to do it rather than starting with the first step, because now I'm going to go to the second step and it gives me this little error that says offset limited to 8 inches. And it's because the program doesn't want you, it wants you to, it kind of presumes that you're going to want to pull sections up to the same height. So it makes you do it in 2 steps, which is kind of annoying. So rather than actually start with my first step that is 8 inches tall, I'm actually going to start with that's why I put that little index mark. But I also know the dimension, that's 40 inches. I'm going to start with my top step and then move down. So I'm going to pull that up 40 inches. And then I'm going to pull this one up 32 inches. And it doesn't give me that offset warning because I'm going lower. So 32 inches, then 24 inches. You can see that one arrives at 2 feet. And that's why 8-inch steps are kind of the easiest. So, so from 24 inches, my next would be 16 inches. And then finally 8 inches. And at that point, I have my stairs. I have these annoying lines that I'm going to get rid of to make it look better and not have to have multiple sections that when I start to paint it or apply materials, I don't have to do it in multiple sections and I don't have the lines unless, for some reason, design-wise, you were wanted to keep those. But I have my step unit now. And when I get out of editing the group, I can see that now it's a group unto itself. If I needed to somehow rotate it now, I can rotate it as a group. I can click on the corner, get my blue axis and turn it if I need to. But that's how I draw a stair unit. Once I've got it figured out what height it needs to get to, if I'm using my standard measurements of a 1 foot tread and an 8-inch rise, it's pretty easy. And a 4 foot width or 3 foot width, you're just laying out those lines at every foot on the rectangle or the footprint of your step and then pulling it up. So I can see that those 5 steps get me up to this, what is essentially a 6th step that is 4 feet high for my landing. So then let's say you were going to do an 8 foot second level, right? Because you have like a second level where doors are, yeah. Right? For roomers. Yeah. The old slamming door farce. I could do a couple things. I could draw just a platform deck and bring it into the space at 8 feet high. That's a little, for our purposes, we're just gonna push pull either a section of this or draw a whole new 8-foot section, which is, I think, what I'm gonna do. Let's see, what do I? Yeah, because obviously I need a landing area, but then I need more. I need a space for the stair to actually exist, right? For the next set of steps. So those steps would have to sit on something. Obviously, you could somehow engineer some truss for them, but it would be easier both from a design point of view and just a practical point of view to simply draw the stairs as beginning on another platform, and getting up to that height. Now, we know that if we're going up again another 4 feet, pretty much this whole same apparatus is going to be the same thing that we're going to be drawing. A 5 foot, we're going to need 5 steps to get up that tall. So 5 feet on this platform would actually start coming out. The profile of it would actually impinge on the profile line of these steps. We'll look at it that way, and we may make some changes. So, but I'm just going to use stock sizes for now, and then we'll kind of adulterate it a little bit. So I'm just going to draw another platform. I'm actually going to kill these index lines too, because I don't need them. Give me 1 sec, Will. Okay. Let's see. So I'm going to draw another 8 foot by 4 foot platform, another rectangle that I'm going to make a group, and I'm going to push pull it, or I'm going to edit the group and push pull it up to 8 feet tall. So I could go through the whole process of drawing those steps again, but that seems a little repetitive since I already have a group of steps that I can just copy that group, and I'm going to paste it right here on that level. But of course I need to rotate it because it doesn't fit correctly. So let's rotate that and move it. And then just move this corner up to that corner. Ta-da. So that's kind of, that would be sort of the most simple arrangement of stairs and platforms for a second level that you could come up with 8-inch rises, things arriving. But you can see just from an aesthetic point of view that that's kind of weird to have that step there in overlapping this profile here. So I'd have 2 options. I could make this step simply be 3 feet wide and have it terminate there, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. A smaller step taking up less space. I can show you how that would look. I'm going to orbit a little. I just push pull this in like 1 foot. Click out of that. I can also get rid of my guides at that point. I don't need those. Do I have to edit the group? Yeah. You know, and that doesn't look bad. You know, you've got kind of a wider stair up on this second level, which is probably safer for an actor when they're coming down from the much higher point of view, to have a wider stair to try to climb down. And it kind of fits some stock sizes. It makes us not have to build a bigger platform, you know, a 4x8 platform. The line there terminates there. You know, if we were drawing a little post where like a handrail were to go, I'll do like a little 4x4 inch. You know, if I did that, you know, the handrail could go along here and then also turn there. It's what's called a newel post. So that's one way to fix that. So, you know, using a 4-foot group of stairs there and a 3-foot group of stairs there. But if you wanted the bigger stairs, if you just wanted more presence, I'm gonna undo that, make those same size. All we'd really need to do would be to extend this platform a little bit, move it just a little. I can move this group 1 foot. See my marks now. Yeah. So I just moved that 1 foot. You know, I can edit this group and just push it a little bit. Make it bigger. And then again, just move this group of steps over there. And that looks better since it lines up that way. So I would just need a 9-foot, you know, if I knew that, I would need a 9-foot platform for that section to line up well. So those are kind of the two options for like a standard turning stairway, going up to 4 feet, then turning and going up to 8 feet. I don't know if that fits into your
I think that's exactly what I had down on my ground plan.
Okay. Then I'm gonna like stop the recording because I think that's useful for everybody else to see. But I'm gonna pull up yours just so we can see it real quick, and then if you've got any questions, you know.